per game that Edwin has been out there. And when he goes out there, he stays a while. 6-7 innings with absolute dominant stuff. Fastball, mid-90s, outstanding breaking ball. He'll need a few more changeups tonight against this Oakland Athletics team, especially against the left-hand batters. Let's take a look at the Tigers defense. And of course, it's always presented by your Chrysler and Jeep Superstores. You got Rayburn, Granderson, Thomas in the outfield. Inge, Everett, Polanco, Cabrera, that's the infield. Gerald Laird is behind the plate after not starting a couple of games over the weekend in Minnesota, although he did see quite a bit of playing time.
Well, as we check out the numbers on Edwin Jackson, this will be his 8th start of the year. We've talked about how outstanding he's been in terms of the base on balls, but that walks to strikeout a whole lot better than what he has shown in his career.
He's been overpowering, attacking the strike zone, outstanding earned run average. The opponent's batting average against him is just .222, and he's not been giving up a lot of home runs, only 4 home runs. He gets a ton of ground balls.
So as we start play tonight, the rain beginning to fall again, but we will get this one going in about a 1-hour rain delay, and the first pitch of the ball game has popped up. Right side of the infield, Placido Polanco for the out. 1 pitch, and Cabrera is out. By the way, this game tonight is available in crystal clear high definition on Fox Sports Detroit HD, sponsored by Comcast. 60 degrees, our game time temperature here tonight. Rain delay of 1 hour and 1 minute to be exact.
Expect quite a few of these Oakland Athletics to come out swinging at the first thing that Jackson throws, because his previous 7 starts, he has been attacking the strike zone with lots of first pitch strikes, and the majority of those first pitches, yes, they are fastballs.
Well, they used to call them the swinging A's. There's a pitch from Jackson missing down low, 1-0. Kurt Suzuki at .325, nice start to his season, but if you look at his career numbers against the Tigers, .358. He has found a way to get it done against Detroit. Way inside, spins him out of the box.
They say Suzuki may be the MVP of this Oakland Athletics team first 6 weeks of the year. You talked about the offensive numbers, but he has also done an outstanding job handling the pitching staff. Very smart player, good player.
The 2-0 is a little bit low. 3 balls, no strikes. Edwin Jackson coming off a terrific start in Cleveland, in which he won his 2nd game of the season, and he has certainly pitched better than just the 2 wins that he has recorded. There's a strike called, and the count goes to 3-1. A little bit of a light rain falling now. Big crowd here because of the fireworks show after the ball game tonight, but they are sitting under the umbrellas and rain gear right now. That's grounded foul, 3-2. Kurt Suzuki, 5 for his last 11. And batting in the 2 slot these days with a familiar face back in the Oakland uniform, Jason Giambi. Here's Edwin's full count pitch on the ground left side. Nice play by Everett. Going to be tough to throw him out, and Suzuki beats it out. It's an infield hit.
Everett shows a pretty good range at getting to this ball. Yeah, but there was really no play, and if Everett could do it all over again, probably would just eat that one.
First hit of the ball game for the Athletics. And here is Jason Giambi. After 7 years in a Yankees uniform, he's back in Oakland.
Of course, most teams that Giambi goes up against, and the Tigers are no different. They've got 3 men on the right side of the infield, because when he hits the ball on the ground, the majority of the time, that's exactly where he hits it.
Well, Giambi, we mentioned all that time in New York, and they say that because of that short porch out there, as you look at the shift, he got a little bit pull happy, which I guess can happen in that ballpark.
Absolutely.
Runner diving back in. Suzuki has only 1 swipe this year.
Yeah, Tigers outfield playing Giambi straight up. Yeah, but his tendencies, as I pointed out, when he hits the ball on the ground, it's usually where the Tigers have their defenders placed.
94-mile-an-hour fastball is in there, 1-1.
There used to be a time where you were a little reluctant in pounding Giambi inside with fastballs. As you look at his numbers against the Tigers, they're sensational. Yeah, but when you get up there in age, your bat does slow down a little bit, and Giambi's starting to get up there.
Well, Jason right now is sitting on 399 career home runs. His next will be number 400, and right now he is tied with the great Al Kaline at 399. There's Mr. Tiger.
That's a lot of home runs. Ellen Hills Zerang there sitting next to Al Kaline. Looks like she's doing a little work.
Yeah.
Busy.
No downtime. Swing and a miss. Jackson strikes him out. 2 gone. First strikeout for Edwin Jackson.
If you watch the video on Jackson, and I'm sure the Oakland Athletics did that before their game in their clubhouse, you know that most of the fastballs you get are going to be up in the strike zone late in the count, because that's where he can strike you out. But that appeared to be a breaking ball that kind of stayed up and backed up on him, and it kind of fooled Giambi.
Well, here is Matt Holliday, one of their big offseason acquisitions, who has gotten off to a relatively slow start, batting just .240 as he fouls it back out of play. Holliday had some really good years with the Colorado Rockies. He's 10 for 19 against Tigers' pitching career.
It's a new league for Holliday, going from the National League to the American League, also going from that friendly ballpark to hit in Colorado and going to the Coliseum in Oakland.
It's pulled down the left field line, hooking, and that is a foul ball.
I was talking to a good buddy of mine who watches this Oakland Athletics team on a daily basis, and he was talking about that was one of the questions that a lot of people were asking when Oakland acquired Holliday. How would his numbers transfer over to Oakland? So far, it's been slow.
I guess that's a question they ask about all the great hitters that have gone through Colorado. Guys like Todd Helton, who's had great years there, and Larry Walker.
Yep.
You know how much playing in that ballpark really affects their statistics.
You're never really given all the credit you deserve. But those 2 guys you mentioned were really good players.
The 0-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Matt Holliday.
And Holliday also understanding that this is his free agent year, and there are some players that struggle when they know that big payday is right around the corner.
A different looking Athletics team with Holliday acquired. So is Cabrera, Nomar Garcia Parra. The 1-2 is on the ground to the right side. It's going to get through. Base hit. Suzuki will hold at second base, and the Athletics have something going here with 2 outs. Second hit of the inning for Oakland.
Holliday is one of those guys that does a lot of damage to the pull field, but he gets on top of that fastball. A little tardy on it, but he found a seam between Polanco and Cabrera.
It's going to bring up the slugging Jack Cust, who last year set an American League record for striking out 197 times, but he's also a guy that walks quite a bit. Two on and 2 out. He skies this one in the air, foul. Down the third base line, Inge will run out of room.
Cust has got what you would call legitimate home run power. He's got that lift and separating the swing, and usually when he connects, it's a home run or a walk.
Yeah,
over 51% of his at-bats last year were just that, a home run or a walk.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. 51%.
0-1. He did lead the team last year in homers with 33. Layered down to block that one, and the count is 1 ball, 1 strike on Cust. Just underway here from the ballpark. A little bit of a rain falling right now. We had a 1 hour and 1 minute rain delay, and so it appears that throughout the course of the night that we're going to be dodging raindrops. Hopefully nothing too severe here. Here's Jackson's 1-1. That's lifted in the air toward left. And a routine play for Rayburn. So they lead 2. We go to the bottom of the first inning. Still no score. Like this, it'll be Curtis Granderson leading it off in center field. Placido Polanco is batting second. 10 of his 13 doubles to come off left-handed pitching. Clee Thomas hitting in third spot, playing in right field, and Cabrera cleaning up. Ordonez, the DH, Inge at third. Your bottom three: Rayburn, Laird, and Adam Everett tonight. The Bernstein Advantage brings you the scouting report on Brett Anderson. Get the Bernstein Advantage. We go to bat for you.
Well, he does a pretty nice job when the bases are empty, but however, when runners are on, they hit him at a 395 clip, and Everett has been very good this year against left-handers. He's hitting above 350, and he had to miss a turn. Talking about Anderson has a blister on his hand. His last start came on May 4th.
Anderson puts a charge into his first pitch to deep center field, but it's going to be caught by Ryan Sweeney. Yikes.
Yeah, Sweeney plays real deep. It's going to be hard to hit a ball over his head in this series. He's in center. Holliday's in left. You've got Cunningham just called up in right. Crosby, Cabrera, Kennedy, Giambi round out the infield. Suzuki behind the dish. And Brett Anderson on the mound.
How about the numbers on Brett Anderson? This will be his 6th start.
Earned run average is elevated, comes in 0-3, but they really like his stuff. They talk about his fastball anywhere from 88 to 92. And he's got a breaking ball, which is a slider, and a curve, and a changeup. Kind of slings the ball up to the dish.
Polanco shatters his bat, rolls it to deep short. Cabrera with a running scoop, and it's dropped at first base by Giambi.
That's a shame, because that was a really good play by Cabrera. Take a look at how he surrounds this ball and gets all his momentum, carrying him back toward first base. Jump throw like a quarterback, and Giambi hit him right in the glove and dropped it.
I'm assuming that's an E3. That was a terrific play by Cabrera. So the Tigers get a base runner. And here is Clee Thomas batting in the 3 slot again. A wave and a miss. Clee batting .333. He's knocked in 5 so far this year. And he's hit safely now in his last 4 for Detroit. Strike called. 0-2. This Anderson kid has some size to him. 6'4", 215, born in Midland, Texas. That's outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
He's got a nice firm fastball. He's touched 93 on a couple of pitches to Thomas.
And Polanco back in, standing up. When the Athletics traded away Dan Herron, they tried to restock their system. They picked up 6 players, and one of the 6 was that kid right there, Brett Anderson.
It's amazing that 5 of the 6 players they got in return for Herron have made it to the big leagues too.
Little chopper hit slowly back to the mound. Anderson throws to second 1, and that's all they'll get. Thomas aboard in the fielder's choice. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Miguel Cabrera. Well, Miguel coming into play tonight at 366. Eight home runs at this point. And that 366 average good for 4th in the American League. Strike 1. Anderson is only 21 years old. There's Cabrera, and his home numbers. Only Kevin Youkilis has a better home average.
Pretty good players on that list. And what a difference in years it has been for Cabrera. He is enjoying his 2nd year in the American League. And he really didn't finish all that badly last year.
No, he did not.
This is what he was doing last year at this point. 259 with 5 home runs, 22 driven in.
That one missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Cabrera. Brett Anderson has quite a bit on his resume, even though he's only 21 years old. He pitched in the Futures game, also for Team USA in the Beijing Olympics. Outstanding international experience for him. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Their #1 pitching prospect. Here's the 2-2. Well, Cabrera now has worked the count in his favor. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And the Tigers will get the runners started here. Maglio waiting on deck.
And most of the opposing teams that have gone up against the Tigers have tried to get Cabrera out with fastballs inside.
Fouled off.
That time they threw him a 3-2 breaking ball.
Polanco reaching on an error with 1 out in this inning. Thomas forcing him at second base. And with the runner going here, a gap shot by Cabrera could get a run in. Again, the 3-2. Grounded left side. And under the glove of Crosby into short left. Thomas will go to third. He's in there safely. Looked like a routine play.
Bobby Crosby not real comfortable at third base yet. He's a shortstop by trade. And every single year he has been in the big leagues, he has played shortstop. Not making any excuses for him. That play should be made. But it has definitely been an adjustment for him to play that position. He just does not get down to make the play. Failed to move his feet to get over in front of it. And Anderson did crowd Cabrera with a good fastball inside. He jammed him.
So the Tigers in business here with 2 outs, and we'll see if Ordonez can put his team on the board. The Athletics now have committed 23 errors this year, and only Seattle has committed more.
A lot of their errors have come in the last week of play. About a week to 10 days ago, they had a pretty nice defensive club. They were making several plays.
Strike called on Maglio, 1-1. Ordonez has hit in 5 straight, but he is still not back to where he wants to be or anywhere near it. The average right now at 240. And the 1-1. Well, it's hard to play the A's without reliving Houston Street and Maglio Ordonez in 2006. Game 4 of the ALCS. And the Tigers go to the World Series. Here's the 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes now on Ordonez. Anderson trying to pitch around a couple of errors here in the first. That's grounded foul. Tigers trying to get some early runs here for Edwin Jackson, who has not been the recipient of too many this year. They give him about 2.4 runs per 9 innings. Lowest in the American League. Jackson has had to pitch around that. Right back up the middle and knocked down by Cabrera, but he'll have no play. That'll score a run. Clete Thomas is in. It's an RBI for Ordonez.
Good big league teams capitalize when the other team gives them extra outs. And that's exactly what Oakland has done here in the first inning against the Tigers. They have given them 2 extra outs. Maglio is starting to heat up just a little bit. You talked about the 5-game hitting streak and starting to drive in a few more runs, starting to hit the ball a little bit harder, which is a good sign for Maglio. Cabrera with outstanding range and quickness at that shortstop position, but could not field that one cleanly.
Big swing by Brandon Inge. Inge at 283 has 2 men on base. He had 4 hits in that Minnesota series. That's inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
A couple of tough losses in Minnesota over the weekend, especially yesterday. 13 strikeouts by Verlander. Whew, wasted.
A couple of giveaways, actually. Last 2 games of that series, Tigers had a lead late, game 2, and Minnesota came back, and of course the 5-0 lead in the series finale.
However, the Tigers aren't the only team that has a difficult time of beating the Minnesota Twins. It's not like you can't compete there with them, but at the end of the day, if you give them the last at bat, on many occasions they come out on top.
Swing and a miss. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Had a shot of the Tigers dugout there, which included Jeremy Bonderman, who's with the club tonight. He's going to be making a rehab start tomorrow in West Michigan. There's Bondo.
Yeah, I saw him in the clubhouse earlier. Good to see him back.
Looks different with hair. 2-2 pitch. It hit him. It's going to load the bases. It's turning into an ugly inning for Anderson. Of course, some of this is not his fault with the 2 errors. Ouch. And we'll get a confab on the hill now with the bases loaded. The Tigers have a chance to break this one open a little bit early.
Kurt Young, pitching coach for Oakland, has been for the last several years since Rick Peterson left.
So the veteran pitching coach to the rookie pitcher. Bases are loaded now with Tigers, and Ryan Rayburn, who's playing left field tonight, getting a chance. Carlos Guillen, who is on the disabled list, still not ready to come back. Rayburn takes high and away, 1-0.
Well, if you're Rayburn in this situation, because Anderson's been a little erratic out there, you have to sit on a fastball here in one spot, one location. If you get it, don't miss it.
That's a ball outside. It goes to 2-0. Well, I guess your point now is even magnified here on 2-0.
Absolutely.
And already 27 pitches thrown by Anderson. Fouled straight back. 2-1. It has not been a good start to 0-9 for Ryan Rayburn. Of course, he was sent down to AAA out of spring training, did not make the club, but since coming back, only 2 for 21. But he has showed that he can be a much better big league hitter. Tigers have Cabrera, Ordonez, and Inge on the bases. Strike called. 2-2 on Rayburn. Ryan with a confab going now with Jerry Crawford. Didn't really like the location of that last pitch or the call. Suzuki flashing the signals, and it's swung out and belted high in the air, way back into left field, way back, and that ball is gone. It's a grand slam for Ryan Rayburn, and the Tigers busted wide open.
Anderson fell behind Ryan Rayburn, 2 balls, no strikes. He came back with a fastball that he fouled straight back. The 2-1 fastball Rayburn took for strike 2, and he had him timed pretty good on this 2-2 fastball. And we're going to take a look at it in slow motion, courtesy of Exmo Lincoln Mercury. Gets that front foot down, which is key, which allows you to get the bat speed you need to drive the ball a long, long way, and that's exactly what Ryan did.
So Rayburn makes it a 5-0 ball game. So much for the slow start for Ryan. There's a ground ball hit to the shortstop. Cabrera has it, and Gerald Laird is out to end the inning. But a big inning it is, courtesy of Mr. Rayburn. One mighty swing of the bat, and it's 5-0. On Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank, standing the test of time since 1849. Your Motor City Dodge dealers. By Comcast, questions about the upcoming digital transition? Comcast can help. Call 1-888-COMCAST. And by Arby's Bacon Cheddar Roast Burger Sandwich. Try it today. It'll have you saying, I'm thinking Arby's. A grand slam, the second of Ryan Rayburn's career, giving the Tigers a 5-0 lead. He hit one last year against Colorado, this year against the Athletics. And here is Ryan Sweeney as Edwin Jackson, who gets no run support, has a bevy of runs to work with now. Jackson gave up a couple of singles in that first, no damage though. Sweeney, Kennedy, and Crosby for Oakland here in the second.
The majority of Edwin Jackson's innings that he has pitched this year, he has had no margin for error. He has some margin for error tonight.
Ooh, look out inside and high.
But I really don't expect him to change his approach against Oakland. He will continue to attack the strike zone with good hard fastballs.
He has fanned 7 in each of his last 2 starts, which is a season high.
Edwin's got a little mean streak in him too. That 0-2 pitch to Sweeney under his chin.
It's always good to have a mean streak between the white lines.
What a deal. Edwin Jackson for Matt Joyce.
2-2 pitch. On the ground back up the middle. Polanco ranging right. Tough play. Scoot. Got it.
Polanco is probably the most underrated player in the big leagues. We know all about him because we've had a chance to watch him for the better part of the last 4 years. Backhands the ball, plants on the right foot, throws across his body, and Cabrera is getting awfully smooth over at first base. Polanco committed his first error of the season in Minnesota. And by the way, he holds the record all time for errorless games at second base.
Here is Adam Kennedy. Kennedy was in Cardinals camp and was released. Tampa Bay picked him up.
He and Tony La Russa didn't get along very well.
Here's the 0-1. Talking to Adam before the game. I've known him for a while back in his Angels days, and that pretty much summed it up right there with his relationship with Tony.
You don't want to get in the doghouse
no.
with La Russa.
That's driven to the air and hit well to center field. Grandy has a long run for this one, but he'll get there.
There was a time when Kennedy had real good pop back in those Angel days. Hit some home runs, but no longer does he have that kind of power. And especially here at Comerica Park, it's tough to play long ball out there in that area where he hit that ball.
420 to dead center field, and you've got the triangle out there in right center.
That's big boy territory.
Here's Bobby Crosby. A little bit low, 1-0. Well, Crosby has gone from a starting shortstop in the big leagues to pretty much a super sub, super utility guy. Drills this one in the air toward left. Rayburn is over there, and a basket catch. 1-2-3. A's go in order. Tigers lead 5-0. Getting some airtime there, Rod.
Yes, indeed.
It's always a good thing. They've waited out the rain here. It was about an hour and 1 minute rain delay here. Still some rain gear out there. No rain falling right now as Adam Everett leads it off. Tigers sent 8 men to the plate in that first inning. They scored 5 times. The big blow, the grand slam by Ryan Rayburn. The hook is a strike and a beauty of a pitch. 0-2 now on Everett.
And Tigers benefiting by having a healthy Adam Everett this year. He was not healthy last year while wearing a Minnesota Twins uniform. But the Tigers signed him as a free agent in the offseason to give them a good defensive player. But he's been real good offensively as well.
Yeah, he's been, I don't want to say surprisingly good, but 14 RBIs out of the bottom part of your lineup.
Jim was talking about him today. He says his concentration level goes way up when there's ducks on the pond. That would be runners in scoring position for some of our new viewers out there.
Fastball missing away, 1-2. Of course, Everett also hit a grand slam earlier this year, and he takes one just high. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He's done a lot of things. He has sacrificed, moved runners along. Key hit and run in yesterday's ball game that Jim put on back-to-back with Everett. And you talked about the grand slam.
Yeah, the Tigers, by the way, have hit 3 already this year now. Of course, Cabrera hit one on opening day here in Detroit. Rayburn's tonight, and Everett's earlier this year. That was against the Indians. Two-two pitch. Swing and a miss. One gone. It's his first strikeout.
Hey fans, this Sunday Tigers wrap up the series against the A's at 105. All kids 14 and under receive a poster of Placido Polanco. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. I am still going to try to sneak in as a 14-year-old, by the way.
I've already told on you they're expecting.
Oh
yeah, I ratted you out.
And
here's Curtis Granderson. I would never do that. Give it a shot. You never know. Starting to rain again now. Here come the umbrellas. And again, this is probably going to be going on here all night long. As long as it doesn't get too heavy, we should be in decent shape. Granderson hit one to deep center field back in the first.
I don't know if Curtis will do so today with a 5-run spread, but he was watching Anderson on video and noticed how he falls off toward the third base side of the pitching rubber after delivering the ball toward home. And he had some ideas of trying to bunt back towards second base against the left-hander here tonight.
Well, and Anderson admittedly says that he knows he's not a very good defensive pitcher. Didn't handle his position all that well, and he's given up a walk. 1 on, 1 out. It's his first walk. And we mentioned this is the longest Tigers homestand of the year, and it begins here tonight with plenty going on this homestand.
Fireworks, photo day, get some free playing cards in the always popular country nights.
I wonder if Joe West is umpiring that night. Country Joe, of course.
Military and veteran recognition, which is always key and much appreciated.
Polanco the batter. As they say, Placido, all he has to do is throw his glove out on the field to scare the A's, because his numbers against Oakland career .406 lifetime, that is.
He's a nice player. I'm a little biased because I get a chance to watch him every single night from this seat. But he does a lot of things that really don't show up in the box score that help you win ball games nightly.
And people that don't see him play every day, I'm not sure can really appreciate what he brings to a ball club. That's off the glove. Fired to second for 1. Here comes the relay. They throw it away. Kennedy's throw was low, and that thing was redirected by the pitcher Anderson right to Cabrera.
That will be the second error of the game on Jason Giambi, I expect. Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, that might have hit the dirt. It did. probably go on Kennedy.
But it's probably a play that Jason will tell you if you ask him that he should have caught.
Pukashell's going there for Giambi. There's a strike. E4.
Pukashell's coming back around?
I don't know, but maybe Kurt Suzuki got him for him because he wears them too.
He sure does. Suzuki having a nice year. He ought to get everybody some.
little Suzuki karma.
Everybody ought to get a set.
Here's Cabrera making another play, and this time they record the out at first base. So Hayes has committed 3 errors tonight. No damage in the second. Let's go to the third. 5-0. Tire, trust us, will make you happy you came in. That's a promise. AT&T, your world delivered. And by Aflac, we've got you under our wing. This is duck weather tonight. Well, let's see what's going on here. A little confab going on between Heather Nabasi. She's on the left. Jim Leland, he's in the middle. And a couple of members of the umpiring crew as the rain continues to fall here.
I believe that's Tom Hallion, who is the third base umpire.
Jerry Crawford, your home plate ump tonight.
Crawford is the crew chief.
Trying to decide what to do here, if they should roll the tarp on the field, if they think they can. Bob Guerin's coming out saying, you know, what are you guys talking about here? You want to include me? And so now Guerin will meet with Crawford. Well, the longer we wait here, the more the field is getting wet. Nothing Tigers. We go to the top of the third for the time being. We're going to keep playing here. Jackson back to work. And it's drilled in the air on the line right at the center fielder Curtis Granderson. Cunningham hit it hard, but he's out. One gone as Jackson has gotten actually a lot of fly balls tonight.
Orlando Cabrera, nice pickup for Oakland. Here's a guy that played in Chicago for a few years and was a real good player for them at that shortstop position. Has a couple gold gloves. But last year he was one of those guys, Mario, kind of frozen out in the free agent market.
Really odd offseason in terms of how long a lot of quality players had to wait on the market.
Cabrera was really upset this offseason because he watched Edgar Renteria get $18 million from the San Francisco Giants, and yet he couldn't get a deal.
He's out with the fly ball to right.
And really had a better year than Edgar did last year.
No question. And in all honesty, I think that you know, when you compare the two players, this guy right here is pretty good.
Oh, he's a solid defender. Good team leader.
2 out. Another fly ball out. Here's Kurt Suzuki. See, he's got the shells on too. Jackson looking for his second straight 1-2-3 inning. singled back in the first inning, an infield hit. Breaking ball, dips low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jackson 2 victories this year, 1 at Seattle, 1 at Cleveland. One and 2, and there's the reason for the puka shells, a native of Hawaii, Mr. Suzuki. The 1-2 pitch is on the ground to third, foul just outside of the bag. Well, speaking of Hawaii, there is Dane Sardina.
Not available tonight. Well, maybe to catch, but he definitely can't throw.
He's out of Honolulu, Hawaii. There's a splint on his finger, which he injured in that series against the Minnesota Twins. They had to take him out because he just couldn't throw. Right back up the middle and through, out of the reach of both Jackson and Polanco.
You know, Suzuki, Mario, was a teammate of John Wilhite. And John Wilhite was a lone survivor in that accident earlier this year out in Anaheim regarding Nick Adenhart. Of course, Nick Adenhart, starting pitcher for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, was killed in that accident. But he was a roommate of John Wilhite, who was the lone survivor at Cal State Fullerton. And Kurt Suzuki and his wife Renee have started to raise some money to help John Wilhite with some of his medical costs and rehabilitation, and it's just a wonderful gesture by Suzuki and his wife Renee.
That's a wonderful story, and it just goes to show that friendships that you make in baseball certainly last a lifetime, in good times and bad. Jason Giambi, the batter, with 2 outs. Tigers lead 5-0.
It reminds me of a story a couple of years ago when Hurricane Katrina roared through New Orleans, and Ron Washington, who was on Oakland A's staff at the time, lost his home. But a lot of the Oakland A's players got together and anteed up a lot of money, and they allowed Ron Washington to rebuild in New Orleans. Close family is baseball. Very close family. Jason Giambi, who wasn't even with the Oakland A's team at the time, was playing for the New York Yankees. He gave Ron Washington $20,000 to help him rebuild his home in New Orleans.
Ron Washington's so well liked in the game, and certainly by the players that he worked with in Oakland, and there were a lot of them that came through that he turned into really good players. Worked with them defensively. There's a strike.
Of course, Ron Washington now managing the Texas Rangers, the first place Texas Rangers,
and they'll be coming to town next.
Yes, they will.
3-1 on Giambi. To center field for Granderson. To his right. Side retired. They get another hit, leave him in. We've played 2.5 here at Comerica. 5-0 Detroit. Legendary performance, and it includes Mr. Joe DiMaggio. On this date in baseball history in 1941, Joe D began his major league record-setting 56-game hitting streak against the Chicago White Sox. He went 1 for 4 in that game with an RBI, and he got that hit against a pitcher by the name of Ed Smith, and that started the 56-gamer for DiMaggio, which is going to be awfully difficult to beat.
What is it? Zimmerman of the Washington Nationals just had a 30-game hitting streak snapped a couple of days ago in San Francisco.
30-gamer, and that, you know, when you think about 30 consecutive games and still have 26 more to go.
You know, back when Joe D was doing it, he was pretty much seeing the same pitcher throughout the entire game. Nowadays, when you try to have a lengthy hitting streak like that, you're seeing the starter go 6th, then you're seeing somebody in the 7th, somebody in the 8th, somebody different in the 9th. Awfully difficult to stay on top of that many pitchers.
There's a breaking ball to Miguel Cabrera, who leads it off in a 5-0 game.
Yeah, they jammed him first time up with a good fastball inside. Crosby was playing third base at the time, made an error. And they now have a new third baseman, Jack Hanahan,
former Tiger. Cabrera given time there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Miguel reaching on an error in the first inning. 3 errors tonight already for the Athletics. Look out. A missile back up the middle. A little chuck and duck there for Brett Anderson.
That's what you're supposed to do with fastballs that are away from you. You hit them right back up the middle or the other way. And no one, I mean no one in the American League hits the ball as hard as this big fella. Front foot is the key. It gets down. That front leg is firm, which allows the rotation on the backside, the hip rotation, and lethal bat quickness from Cabrera.
Tigers have their 3rd hit of the game, each side now with 3 hits. Ordonez had an RBI single back in the first. 6-game hitting streak now for Maglio. He had a big rip there.
Some bat speed too. He's starting to figure out some things.
I was about to say, are you seeing any signs at all the last couple of days that he's breaking out?
I'm seeing a much quicker bat. Much quicker bat.
Line to right field. It is a foul ball. Just foul. He went the other way. 0-2. Ordonez 15 RBIs, had 6 hits on the road trip. Anderson missing high and away. He threw a lot of pitches in that first inning in which the Tigers sent 8 men to the plate. He was the victim of 2 errors, 3 for the game now for the Athletics. That is a single game high so far for the A's. Ooh, it looked like Crawford wanted to ring him up, but he didn't.
He flinched.
Hit to center field. Late jump for Sweeney, and it's going to drop in.
I told you after the very first ball of the game that Curtis Granderson hit to the outfield that Sweeney made look rather easy, but it was hit rather deep. He's not a center fielder by trade. Therefore, he plays deep. And there are a lot of balls already this year that have fallen in front of him in center field. Most guys are much more comfortable playing deeper and coming in than reverse when you play deep and go back.
Ordonez now 2 for 2. Tigers have 4 hits. And here comes Brandon Inge, who was hit by a pitch in the first inning. And the hook drops in for a strike. We're talking about that blister problem that Anderson has had this year. It actually started last season when he was in Double-A at Arkansas, and cropped up again this year. It's fouled off 0-2.
Who was that Tigers had a couple years ago that continued to have blister problems in the starting rotation?
Yeah, who was that? Wasn't too long ago. Jason Johnson?
Yes, it was.
Yep,
Jason
that's
Johnson.
Who it was, yeah. 2 on for the Tigers. Nobody out. Looking to add to this 5-0 advantage. Little chopper hit slowly back up the middle. Flip backwards to Cabrera, and they get it out there. Wow, that was a wacky looking play. Kennedy went with a backhanded flip to get the force.
It gives you an idea how heads up Cabrera is on this particular play. Cabrera is expecting Kennedy to go to first base to get the out there. But yet he flips the ball to Cabrera, and Cabrera able to make the adjustment to get to the bag to get the out. And good heads up play. Cabrera, the shortstop, was expecting Kennedy to throw that ball to second. And they're talking about that now. Of course, they really haven't been playing that much together as a tandem.
Here's one of the heroes so far. Ryan Rayburn, who hit a grand slam back in the first. Rayburn's first home run of the season, trying to pick up Cabrera at third. Tigers have Inge at first base. 1 ball and 1 strike. Rayburn picked up only 8 at bats on the recent road trip, was 1 for 8. Checked it. Good block at home plate by Suzuki, who wants the appeal. Didn't go. Phil Cuzzy said that he held up.
Well, really the only time Rayburn gets an opportunity to play is against left-handed pitching. As a matter of fact, Lloyd McClendon this afternoon had several of the Tigers hitters out taking early batting practice off of a curveball machine, and he had the machine simulating left-handed curveballs. And they'll also see a left-hander tomorrow, Dallas Braden.
There is Cuzzy and Bob Guerin, who are kind of going at it.
What, he thought Rayburn swung?
Apparently. And Cuzzy just kept looking in. He's still looking into the dugout, and there must be some chirping going on.
Well, we watched Lila get tossed a couple of days ago. Ron Gardner hire got tossed yesterday. Ozzie Guillen got tossed over the weekend as well.
They're dropping like flies.
It's about that time of year.
Here's that swing. The check swing that was ruled a ball.
It's about as far as you can go without it being called a strike.
Three and 2. Inge on the move, and a bouncing ball to short. Cabrera bobbles it. He'll throw to first. Pulled him off the bag. Everybody is safe, and a run comes in, and another Oakland error.
Routine double play ball. Oakland scuffling today on the defensive end. And with the offense that they have that ranks dead last in several major offensive categories, it's going to be nearly impossible for them to come back. He still had a chance to get Rayburn, but threw toward the right field side, and Giambi couldn't keep his foot on the bag.
That's an E6 and an RBI for Ryan Rayburn, who now has 5 driven in tonight. 6-0 Detroit. 4 errors for the Athletics. Here is Gerald Laird, who needs a hit in a big way. He is 0 for 1 in this game. And Gerald was hitless on the road trip.
Well, maybe seeing a left-handed pitcher will help him out. He's got a .287 career batting average against left-handed pitching.
Anderson gave up 5 runs in the first, all unearned. His teammates have not backed him up tonight, that is for certain. A rainy night here in the Motor City to start this homestand, to start this 3-game series against the A's. There's a strike call. 2-1 on Laird. Three and 1.
Laird is accomplishing something that he told me he was going to do before the game started when he was taking batting practice. he said he needed to look at some pitches. He didn't do that his first time up. He swung at the first pitch, grounded out to short. But he's seen 4 pitches in this at-bat.
And he's taking a walk.
That's a good start to starting to get yourself back to hitting the baseball the way you'd like to.
Well, this week on Fox Saturday Baseball, Grady Sizemore and the Indians visit Evan Longoria and the defending American League champion Tampa Bay Rays. Coverage begins tomorrow at 4 o'clock. It's in high definition on your local Fox station. Another visit out to the mound. And the Tigers have reloaded the bases here. We've got a couple of hits in this inning. We've had another error. We've had a walk. And meanwhile, Anderson has thrown a lot of pitches in this game. And many of them in that first inning, in which the Tigers sent a total of 8 men to the plate, but his pitch count is soaring now.
Oakland does have a good bullpen. One of your better bullpens in the American League. But that's the problem. They've been used way too often in the first 6 weeks of the year because the starters haven't given them the length in the game they need.
Well, here's Adam Everett. We talked about how his concentration level seems to rise with men on base. Well, he's got 3 of them on base right now.
Adams is a smart hitter. If he gets something on the outside part of the plate, he'll simply try to hit something between that hole on first and second.
0-2.
Anderson slipped after that last delivery or something. Looked awkward, whatever it was.
Well, between innings, they're doing their best to keep this field dry in the home plate area, in the batter's boxes, and of course on the mound. You see the diamond dry that they've spread. Here's the 0-2. Bouncing ball hit to the shortstop. Let's see if they get 2 this time. There's one. And another drop at second base. They're going to call him out. Kennedy dropped the baseball. Score another run to make it 7-0.
I don't know if the baseball is wet or not, but obviously the Tigers have to play on the same field that Oakland's playing on right now. But it appeared that Cabrera did not have a good handle on this ball. He threw it over there with his palm, not with the fingertips that you usually flip the ball to the second base with. And just kind of lobbed that ball over to Kennedy, and that kind of threw off Kennedy's timing, and he really couldn't make the exchange.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't a firm throw, that's for sure. There's a ball on Granderson.
Take a look. He threw this ball out of the palm of his hand, basically. Just lobbed it over there. And, of course, Kennedy, knowing that Laird's going to be on top of him, may have heard footsteps. Not able to make the exchange.
Give Everett an RBI, by the way. Fielder's choice RBI. 5 in the first, 2 more here in the third. All Detroit tonight, 7-0. It's been hot potato for the A's tonight defensively. Fouled away.
And the reason why that's not an error there on Kennedy, 1. And second base umpire Todd Tishner said he was pulling the ball out, which meant they already recorded the out. And you can't assume a double play up here.
The 1-2 to Granderson is rolled foul, and Curtis staying alive. He has a walk and a fly ball. 0 for 1.
Third inning. Curtis already batting for the 3rd time.
There's the bullpen working now. And that A's bullpen, as you mentioned, has been a strength, but you really can't blame Anderson for a lot of this tonight. 4 errors behind him. Every Tiger has reached base in this game, but only 4 hits. Two and 2. Polanco on deck. Three-two pitch is rifled to right field and caught in the rain by Cunningham to retire the side. Tigers get a couple more, though. We'll go to the 4th inning. Holiday, Cust, Sweeney on the way. Tonight in 1999, Jason Giambi hit his 100th and 101st career home runs off what Tigers pitcher? That was at the Coliseum in those days. His first tour of duty with the Oakland Athletics. That's your question. What Tigers pitcher served up numbers 100, 101? Holliday leads it off against Edwin Jackson.
Holliday going up there looking for the first pitch fastball. And Jackson threw him a well-located slider. Yeah, that he swung right through.
Holliday singled back in the first inning. Came in hitting just .212 in his last 17 games. Had been slumping. Was an all-star last year over in the National League with Colorado. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Holliday, then Cust, and then Sweeney here in the Oakland fourth. 7-0 Detroit. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Just a tad outside. Edwin Jackson has scattered 3 hits so far in this game. There's a ground ball to third. Ooh, a wicked hop for Inge. He'll go all the way down to the corner. Holliday takes the turn, and he will go to second base.
Yeah, that one ate him up. Very difficult play. At third base, you either got to come in or you got to go back. But Brandon really did not know what to do here. A very difficult play. High hop, short hop, tried to pick it. Could not come up with it cleanly. And if he can't pick it, there's not many in the league that can pick it.
It is a double. So Holliday now 2 for 2. Here's Jack Cust. Swings on the first pitch and hits it in the air to left. Ryan Rayburn coming under it. And one away. Well, Coors Light introduces the new 12-ounce cold activated can. Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
They've got a new can now, huh?
Apparently so.
New bottle, new can,
cold activated.
How about that? Coors getting her done.
Here is Sweeney. Ball 1. Sweeney bounced out back in the second. He is now 5 for his last 30. Out in front of the off-speed pitch, 1-1.
Pretty good changeup here by Jackson. He doesn't throw many changeups, but it's a pitch that Rick Knapp, the pitching coach, said Jackson needs to throw a few more of, especially against left-handed hitters. But his first 2 pitches, the fastball and the slider, have been so good this year. Jackson has needed very few changeups. Well, if he can add that to his arsenal and throw it with the confidence he's throwing the other 2 pitches.
Look out.
Yes, indeed.
Now the 1-2. Defensive swing, and it skitters back into the seats.
That's the one thing I like about Jackson and Verlander. They are both not afraid to go inside with good four-seam fastballs, but it also helps when you got 95 in your back pocket.
Makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, it makes a difference.
One and 2. Thought about it. Wouldn't go after it, though. Well, when we look back at that trade the Tigers made as the rain starts to intensify now. The Tigers gave up Matt Joyce, who hit 12 home runs in 92 games with the Tigers last year. When you have a chance, I suppose, to get a quality arm like Jackson, who is now starting to put it together, it was a trade that the Tigers certainly want to make. A broken bat ground ball to first base. That'll advance the runners. 2 gone.
Jackson is in his mid-20s and with front of the rotation type stuff. We've talked about the stuff that he features. Matt Joyce, depending on who you talk to, will be an everyday player or a really good 4th or 5th outfielder. But that was a tremendous trade. And it's a trade that really went unnoticed in the offseason. A lot of people didn't talk about it that much, but it was a nice deal. He won 14 games last year.
Yeah, he sure did. And there's no question that there is, some promise on Matt Joyce's end too. But this year, right now, he's at AAA.
14 games in the American League East, going up against the Yankees and the Boston Red Sox quite a few times.
And Jackson slipped on that last delivery.
We've seen Anderson, the left-hander, slip as well. And obviously, you want to make sure the playing conditions are good out there for both teams. You don't want any injuries out there because guys are slipping on the mound.
Seven-0 Tigers lead. We're in the 4th inning. 2 out, man at third base. Adam Kennedy, the batter, and he takes a strike. We're talking about how the Cardinals had decided they didn't want Kennedy's services anymore. They decided to go with Skip Schumacher. Tampa Bay picked him up just to give him an opportunity to keep playing, and then he came to the Athletics, and here he is starting at second base. Pulls that one into right field. That's going to be an RBI hit. 2-out single for Kennedy, his second RBI in an Oakland uniform.
He's got that classic left-hander swing. Little uppercut, likes the ball down and in. Yeah, that's the happy zone for most left-handed batters. Nice little short stride by Kennedy.
Here's Jack Hanahan batting for the first time. He replaced Bobby Crosby at third base, who apparently left with an upset stomach. So that's why Crosby was taken out of this game early.
Bob Guerin, their manager, should be the one leaving with an upset stomach.
Yeah, with the four errors that he's had to watch so far.
You got that right.
Original property of the Tigers, Hanahan. Way high, runner going, no chance at a throw, and diving into second is Kennedy with a swipe.
We always talk about the fact that it really only takes one team to like you. Hanahan was performing at Toledo, the Tigers AAA affiliate, and was performing well. But apparently there was an Oakland A's scout that saw him and liked him. They made a deal for him, and since they have made that deal for him, he's been in the big leagues. It takes one team to like you. One general manager, one scouting director, one AAA coach.
Well, and when Hanahan originally joined the Athletics, he got an opportunity to quickly play and showed that he can play.
Yeah, Chavez has been on the disabled list quite often the last few years.
One and two on Jack Hanahan. Hit 9 home runs last year for the A's, but batted just .218. Hit .278 the year before that. Trying to pick up Kennedy now, who's at second base in a 7-1 game. Missed it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jackson has limited opponents this year to a 182 batting average with runners in scoring position, which is the situation here. He has really been able to bear down.
He's also dominated left-handed hitters. They have had very little success against him.
Got him, strike three. Hanahan punched out of there, and he wasn't so sure about that call. They get a run, though. Jackson picks up his second strikeout to end the inning. They had a couple of errors to start things off.
Well, anytime you give a big league club a couple of extra outs in the very first inning, and you're also going up against a team that likes left-handed pitching, they're going to capitalize on what you're doing. Maglio base hit up the middle. Brandon Inge hit by a pitch, which set the tone for Rayburn on the 2-2 fastball that he hit into the Tigers bullpen.
A big 5-run first inning, and Jackson has gotten some big-time run support tonight. 7 runs. His average in his first 7 starts, 2.4. Big difference. And the Tigers bring a 7-1 lead into the bottom of the 4th inning on a rainy night here, and so Jackson has had to kick a lot of that dirt out of his cleats. Here's Polanco slicing one toward right center field, picking up steam, but Sweeney runs it down.
You're not going to hit it over Sweeney's head.
One away. How about that Aflac trivia question? 1999, Jason Giambi hit his 100th and 101st career home runs off what Tigers pitcher?
Aflac.
The answer is Jeff Weaver.
Dream Weaver.
Back in September.
He's back in the big leagues.
So we're in the National League, isn't he?
Los Angeles Dodgers.
Here's Clete Thomas. He's swinging on the first pitch, and he drives one deep left center field, way back and off the top of the wall. Thomas will head to second, and he pulls in with a double. Almost hit it out. Clete now has hit in 5 straight games.
And Jim Leland has not been afraid to put Clete Thomas in that number 3 hole against left-handed pitching. And he has made the skipper look awfully smart. Clete has got that patented inside out swing where he kind of cheats with the front side of his body, which allows the barrel to get over the heart of the plate. And he drives a lot of balls in that direction because of the approach that he has.
Missed that by a couple of feet. Cabrera tried to hold up, unable to do it. 0-1.
Well, first 3 hitters of this inning, all up there swinging.
Cabrera singled and scored in the 3rd, reached on an error and scored in the 1st. Each team now with 5 hits. The 0-1. Pulled fair inside the bag at 3rd base. This will get another run in. Thomas will come around to score. Cabrera chugs into second base, and he is in with a double. 26th RBI for Miguel Cabrera. And that's probably going to be it.
he can do some serious damage. It really doesn't matter where you pitch him. He can go foul line to foul line. That ball ripped down the third baseline, and apparently Hanahan was playing him well off the bag at third.
So we'll get a wall side windows pitching change as the Athletics go to the bullpen. We'll step aside with the Tigers leading this one in commanding fashion tonight, 8-1. As we play here in the bottom of the fourth inning, the Athletics have had to go to the bullpen. Maglio is up there with a man at second base, and another run in for Detroit. And Dan Geis is the new pitcher. Ordonez has 2 hits and an RBI. There's a line drive, fair ball inside the bag at third base. Cabrera rounding third. He's coming around to score. Maglio scooting to second. 3 consecutive doubles for the Tigers. Maglio's 3 for 3.
Maglio's taken a lot of batting practice and has kind of changed his approach. 1, he loves hitting here at Comerica Park. 2, he's gotten a little bit more pull happy than he has been the last couple of years. And Maglio, for the better part of 2 years, dating back to when he won his first batting title, hit a lot of balls the opposite way. But lately, Maglio's been a lot more pull happy, which is not all bad.
2 RBIs tonight for Ordonez, and the Tigers adding on now. It's 9-1. That is his second 3-hit game of the season. Strike called on Inge.
And Geis comes in with a 4.19 earned run average. He's lost 3 games, however. 8 walks, 8 strikeouts. Opponent's batting average not all that bad against Geis. Starting to pour here.
Wow, it is coming down. Only 1 out of the inning. It is coming down hard now. Swing and a miss. So Inge is out of there, 2 gone. We talked about how good their bullpen has been. There you have it.
It has been really the one bright spot for Oakland. Although some of their starters have not been all that bad starting pitching. They just haven't gone deep in games, which has allowed their bullpen to rack up some real good numbers.
Rayburn's had a big night with 5 RBIs. Trying to pick up the baseball through the falling rain here. Swing and a miss. The Tigers need 3 more outs to make this a complete game, or a game that would count in the standings with a 9-1 lead. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Swing and a miss. So Rayburn is out of there. Guys comes out of the pen with a couple of strikeouts. Tigers, though, add 2 more. It's now 9-1 as we go to the 5th.
did in the very first inning. The youngster Anderson on the mound, and a left-hander who had not started since May 4th because of a blister, but an error on Giambi, also an error on Crosby, which really opened the floodgates for the Tigers. Maglio drives in a huge run. Brandon Inge was also hit by a pitch in that inning, which loaded the bases for Ryan Rayburn, who hit a grand slam on a 2-2 fastball. Also in the fourth inning, the big boys are getting it done now. Cleek Thomas doubles the opposite way. Cabrera yanks one down the third baseline for a double. Maglio also goes down the same direction. They put a couple more runs on the board in the fourth inning. So it's good to see the Tigers offense perk up in this game tonight after being somewhat slow in that Minnesota series.
And that was our Comerica game summary. And how about the big boys in this one? We've often talked about how Jim Leyland says if the Tigers are going to win this year, they need these two guys.
Well, Cabrera is one guy that always shows up, and he really has shown up the last 5 years. He's driven in more than 100 runs. I know Maglio is off to a slow start this year, but I'll give him a mulligan. Maglio has been tremendous in putting on a Tigers uniform from an offensive standpoint, and as a manager, you also give him a mulligan as well because you know he's going to get it going because that's exactly what the numbers on the back of his bubblegum card say.
And maybe tonight is the night. Certainly an outstanding start to this game for Maglio Ordonez. Now, Edwin Jackson was good from the get-go in this one. He's given up just one run so far, and it's good to see Edwin getting an opportunity perhaps to finish this thing off because he is in the bullpen right now warming up. It's great to see that he'll at least get a chance to continue this one.
Don't know for sure, but I'm sure he'll go at least one more inning, which will qualify him for a win should the Tigers hold on to win. And they probably had Edwin in the tunnel underneath the Tigers' dugout throwing just to stay loose, anticipating that he would go out for one inning. But one thing that Jackson has done this season, he has attacked the strike zone with ferocity. Good firm fastballs, one hanging slider, but he has pounded the strike zone, only averaging 2 walks per 9 innings this year after the first few years in the big leagues, almost averaging 5 walks per 9 innings.
Well, you know the Tigers wanted to complete this game and at least get 3 more outs. There is plenty of more rain in the area, but hopefully we'll be able to get the 3 outs, make this thing an official game, not only for Edwin Jackson, but for Ryan Rayburn with a grand slam in this game. Tigers did not want to lose this one for the Athletics. Obviously, if this game would have been stopped at this point, they would have started from scratch. So 2 differing opinions on where they wanted this thing to go.
Well, if you're the Tigers, obviously, you being at home, you got to play the game. I mean, when you score this many runs for a starter that you have not scored many runs for during the course of the year, and you have this type of lead going into the 5th inning, you'll stay here all night to get the win.
Well, Jim Leyland's jacket is all wet, so are most of the fans here, but it doesn't matter. We're going to have baseball. We'll be restarting this ball game. The Tigers will continue this one with the Oakland Athletics with a nice, healthy 9-1 lead. We'll have the resumption of this game coming up next. The Tigers and the Athletics have both taken the field. They're running their sprints and trying to get warmed up and even taking some photos. How about that? Maglio Ordonez, a very popular figure here at Comerica Park, by the way. The Tigers hopeful of putting this one in the win column. They got off to such a great lead in this game, and fortunately the rain has held off at least long enough for us to resume this ball game. And the Tigers, with that big lead, certainly wanted that to happen. So as they continue to take a look at this field and maybe dry up some of the wet spots. There are some wet spots around home plate and maybe some areas around the base paths. They will continue to work on the field. Well, while the Oakland Athletics didn't play very good defense early on in this game, the Tigers have played some good defense all year long. It's time now for the Home Depot doing more on defense, and we'll go back to the second inning a long way ago before the rain started falling. And Ryan Sweeney was at the plate. Placido Polanco made a pretty good play.
Well, Polanco, outstanding defender, and we talked about it after he made this play. For me, the most underrated player at that position in the big leagues. Does lots of things to help you win. Off-balance throw, nice pick by Cabrera. He is steady. I really like the way he plays the game.
Home Depot doing more on defense moments with Placido Polanco, who, as Rob just mentioned, has been superb down there at second base. Well, the Tigers, as we know, have hit some home runs this year, and maybe, I guess, from some unlikely sources. We know that Curtis Granderson has some pop, but this year his home run numbers are up. He has 9 on the season. Brandon Inge has really picked up his pace in terms of home runs. He has 9. And we know that Miguel Cabrera is always going to be there. He was the home run champ last year, but kind of an unlikely trio of the leading home run hitters as a trio. And look at these 3 guys for the Tigers.
Well, of course, Brandon Inge getting it done in the latter third of the batting order. Curtis at the top. Miguel anchored in the middle of that Tigers batting order. Curtis a few years ago hit 20-plus home runs. And Brandon Inge also a couple of years ago had 25 home runs. So they do have some pop. I mean, they had some consistent approaches earlier in the year, and that's why they rank third most among a trio in the American League.
Tampa and Texas have the top 2 trios. Edwin Jackson, meanwhile, is running back on the field. So are the rest of the Tigers. We are moments away from getting this one restarted again. We had an hour and 1 minute rain delay at the start of this ball game. We were able to play 4 innings. Then the rains returned, and now after another delay, it looks like Jackson will get back out there. And you wonder, Rod, it really has been a lengthy sit down for him. And I guess they say for starting pitchers to come back after a delay, once you get to the 1 hour mark, it really gets kind of iffy.
Well, I think had this game been in the 6th inning or beyond and Jackson had this same type of lead, he would not come back. But Jim Leyland is a good manager, and he always looks out for his players. And I'm sure he discussed it with Rick Knapp and also Jackson and asked Jackson to be honest. How do you feel? Can you go back out there? And you know Jackson's going to say, absolutely, I can go back out there and get 3 more outs. But I would expect he would pitch 1 more inning, and that would be it tonight.
And as he warms it up and gets ready to go, we'll remind you that this Sunday is on-field photo day at Comerica Park. Take pictures of your favorite Tigers players on the field before the game at 1:05. It's against these Oakland Athletics. If you'd like ticket information, there's the phone number, 866-66-TIGER, or you can log on tigers.com on the internet and pick up your tickets that way. Maglio Ordonez continuing to sign autographs here. And the fans have really been able to wait through some wet stuff here, and they will be rewarded as this game continues. And Luke French now is warming up in the Tigers bullpen, so he apparently will be the man to replace Edwin Jackson. Hopefully, once Edwin is able to get 3 outs in this game and probably call it an evening.
It couldn't be a better opportunity for French to make his major league debut with at least an 8-run spread if the Athletics do not score this inning.
So we're ready to resume baseball here. And Jackson to the motion. He is facing Cunningham to start things off, and the 5th inning is underway. It's a strike called on Aaron Cunningham. Orlando Cabrera and Kurt Suzuki will follow. Cunningham fly to center field, his only time up back in the 3rd. He is 0 for 1. Swing and a miss. Jackson coming back with a heat at 94.
And Cunningham spent about 3 weeks to a month on a disabled list down in AAA for the Oakland Athletics. He's only been healthy for about a week, but he was swinging a hot stick in AAA, and they're scuffling in the major leagues to score runs. Therefore, they called Cunningham back up.
Wow, that didn't take long.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
3rd strikeout of the game for Jackson at 96.
3 fastballs right down the middle.
That'll bring up the top of the order, Orlando Cabrera. Cabrera in this game is 0 for 2. He's put the ball in the air twice in this contest. The second rain delay tonight lasted 1 hour and 13 minutes. The one that started before the game even began, 1 hour and 1 minute, was the initial rain delay. That'll get back into the seats. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And most often you won't see a starting pitcher come back after an hour and 13-minute rain delay. But there's a win on the line here for Jackson to get a couple more outs.
Here's the 1-1. Good pitch. 1-2. Cabrera last year with the White Sox hit .281 with 8 home runs. He scored 93 runs. And that's lifted in the air again. This one to center field where Granderson is positioned, and there are 2 gone.
Well, what is Comcast telling us about the velocity of the fastball tonight for Jackson? 96. He has touched a couple of times and has gone as low as 74 miles an hour, with more than likely his changeup. That is a 22-mile-per-hour differential. That's how you get teams to hit sub 200 against you.
Here's Kurt Suzuki with 2 outs. He lost this one in the air to center. Granderson backing up on it. Edwin Jackson comes out after 1 hour and 13 minutes and gets 3 outs. You're watching Tigers baseball tonight on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. Is brought to you by your Chrysler and Jeep Superstores and by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. Edwin Jackson, after a 1 hour and 13-minute rain delay, comes out, gets a 1-2-3 inning, and it's still 9-1 Detroit.
He may not be done.
Looks like he might be sticking around. Who knows? He's got the jacket on. Here come the Tigers in the bottom of the 5th inning. And Dan Geis is still out there. He came on in the 4th, gave up an RBI double, then struck out a couple of batters, and he's going to stay in this game.
Hey, Geis has pitched for 6 different organizations in Boston, San Diego, Philadelphia, San Francisco, a couple of different stints with the Yankees, and now the Oakland Athletics during his 11-year career.
Gerald Laird leads it off. Laird, Everett, and Curtis Granderson. There's a strike called. 1-1 on Gerald. He has a walk and a ground out in this game. Rolled foul third base side.
I was talking to Gerald before the game, and he said usually if you're playing a team in the American League West, I could give our players a pretty good scouting report on the pitchers and also help our pitchers out with the hitters, he says, but there's a lot of new faces on this Oakland Athletics team.
Rolled slowly towards short, running scoop for Cabrera.
Of course, Laird played for the Texas Rangers last year in the same division, but does not know a lot of this new Oakland Athletics ball club.
One gone here in the 5th inning, and now Adam Everett. Well, a lot of turnover. Bob Guerin has a much different looking team at the start of this year than he had last season.
And Bob Guerin also lost a couple of his coaches. And last year, Don Wakamatsu was his bench coach, and Ty Van Berkeley was his hitting coach. Both guys are now in Seattle. Of course, Wakamatsu, the manager, and Van Berkeley, the bench coach now for the Mariners.
It's rolled to Hanahan at third, and Everett is out, and there are 2 gone.
So not only does he have new players, he's got a new staff.
Here's the top of the order, Curtis Granderson. Well, they've had some guys run through that managerial spot there in the past. They've had Art Howe, Ken Maka. Guerin getting an opportunity now. Howe had some really good teams. There's a strike call.
And Bob Guerin and the president, general manager, Billy Bean, are best friends.
He went around. Jerry Crawford called that one a strike. 0-2. Tigers have 7 hits, 9 runs tonight. They raced out to a 5-0 lead, grand slam home run in that very first inning by Ryan Rayburn. Breaking ball got him, and Geis has a very quick 5th inning. 1, 2, 3 they go. It'll be Giambi, Holiday, and Cust coming up in the 6th. A 13-minute rain delay, the second delay of the night, and look who's back on the hill. Edwin Jackson going back out there. He threw just 8 pitches in the 5th inning, coming back from the rain delay. Now he's back out there in the 6th. Jason Giambi will lead it off, and he swings at the first pitch, hits it towards center field. Granderson stretching out for it. Nice play.
Granderson has an outstanding first step in the outfield, and he's probably gotten that explosive first step from his basketball days. And Granderson just absolutely loved basketball growing up as a kid, and boy, that first step is explosive.
Meanwhile, the A's have come out swinging the bats. Edwin appreciating the defense. Here's Holiday. He'll take a first pitch strike. That's 6 putouts now for Curtis. In fact, he's had the last 3 in a row. Busy night out there in center field.
Curtis, unlike Sweeney, who is playing center field for Oakland tonight, plays a very shallow center field. But Curtis also has the ability to go back on balls with no problem. It takes a while to learn how to really go back on balls. If you're a corner guy and you're put out in center field, you have to kind of learn and feel comfortable how to go back on balls, and he has really learned how to do that under the outfield coach Andy Van Slyke.
Two and two on Matt Holliday. Single, a double, and a run scored tonight for Holliday. He went around. Holliday didn't seem to like it. He's out of there, and home plate umpire Jerry Crawford has some words for him. 2 gone. Be sure to tune in to Fox Sports Detroit tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Red Wings Weekly recaps the excitement of last night's Game 7 against the Ducks and gets you prepped for the conference finals against the Blackhawks. Then at 11:30 on Tigers Weekly, relive Curtis Granderson's remarkable game-saving catch last Friday against the Indians. That's tomorrow morning on Fox Sports Detroit.
That was a tremendous catch.
And it was a tremendous Game 7 last night at the Joe. 2 gone, and here is Jack Cust.
They said the atmosphere at the Joe was electric last night, but you wouldn't expect anything other than that from great fans in a great city.
A great organization and a great team that is zeroing in on yet another cup.
I was reading something in the newspaper, I believe it was just a few days ago, and they were talking about owners, and they ranked owners in respective sports, and they had Mike Ilitch as the best owner in the NHL.
Hard to argue. High towering fly ball to center. Granderson's going to handle another one. They are peppering him out there, and 1, 2, 3 they go. Jackson cruising along in a 9-1 game.
For Coors Light Freeze Cam, we're going to take you all the way back to the first inning with the bases loaded. Ryan Rayburn gets a fastball, great concentration, head down, and hits it into the Tigers bullpen for a 4-run home run. Coors Light Freeze Cam brought to you by your Frost Brewed Coors Light.
And here come the Tigers now as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, ahead 9-1 in this game. Placido Polanco leads it off, followed by Clee Thomas, and then Miguel Cabrera. It's a ground ball hit sharply to second, gobbled up by Kennedy, and 1 gone. It'll bring up Thomas. Fleet had a double, scored a run back in the fourth. In fact, he has scored twice. Swing and a miss, big rip. Cleat now has hit safely in 5 in a row. And there's a little looper into center. That's another hit for Thomas, his second of the night. That'll bring up Cabrera. The Tigers now have a total of 8 hits. It's been a good night for Cabrera. Single double, 2 runs scored plus an RBI. Tigers got 5 in the first, 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth. Geis misses inside. 1 ball to no strikes. Two and 0. Cabrera now with 26 RBIs this year. The breaking ball drops in. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Miguel swings, ground ball, base hit left field. It's another hit for Cabrera. He's on base for the 4th time tonight. 3 hits. 2 on and 1 out.
Tigers got your hitting shoes on tonight, especially in the middle of the batting order. Cleat, Cabrera, and Maglio. They have been lethal. But as we told you earlier, several Tigers came out and took some extra batting practice this afternoon about 4 p.m. off a curveball machine because of the starter. Brett Anderson also tomorrow starts as a lefty as well.
Maglio Ordonez the hitter. Well, Mag's starting to break out of it. 3 hits, 2 RBIs.
That's where you get greedy if you're Maglio. Have another good plate appearance. And you could see things starting to turn a little bit for Maglio over the weekend. Excuse me, during the week in Minnesota. Boy, you lose track of days when you play that day game.
All you do is identify teams. The name of the day just seems to slip away.
They run together.
Well, there's been a lot of rain in the Midwest. The Cubs were postponed. The Cardinals were postponed. And it looks like the Orioles and Royals are just getting underway. That's in Baltimore. Or actually, that's in Kansas City. I take it back. And there is ball 4 to Maglio. That's going to load him up.
Yeah, Minnesota has already lost their ball game tonight. The White Sox have also lost. And talking to some Minnesota people before we left yesterday afternoon, the Tigers have a difficult time of playing in Minnesota. Minnesota can't beat New York in New York, where they've got a 4-game series. They've got a wraparound series. They play their Monday night as well in the Big Apple.
There's a ball outside to Brandon Inge, 2-0. Joe Nathan gave it up tonight. The Yankees scored 3 in the bottom of the 9th to win it 5-4 over Minnesota.
He pitched 3 days in a row against us. We softened him up for New York.
He's probably out of juice for that game. And that is grounded foul. 2-1.
And you wonder why the Kansas City Royals have waited so long tonight to play their game. You guessed it. Zach Greinke on the hill.
They'd wait all night if they had to. That game never got going, so it wasn't like Greinke came out, pitched an inning or 2, and then had to wait. Or he never would have come back out. Now it's 3-1 and no place to put Brandon Inge.
I wonder what that cutoff day is for a closer. How many days in a row you'll run your closer out there?
I guess a lot of it depends on how many pitches he's thrown. in each of the previous 3 days.
Obviously, Ron Gardenhire knows his guys much better than we do.
That's hit a ton to center field, way back, and that ball is gone. It's another grand slam for the Tigers, the second of the game.
That ball was crushed.
He hit it over the right center field wall. A grand slam for Brandon Inge.
Brandon Inge with tremendous concentration. That ball's a fastball outside, and boy, he jumped all over it. I was watching Sweeney in center field. He started to slow down, and the ball was picking up steam. 2 grand slams in one game. You don't see that very often.
And one of them went into the shrubbery out there in center.
On a cold, damp night where you know the ball's not carrying all that well. And Brandon Inge hits one 430 feet from home plate.
Grounded to the shortstop. Cabrera has it, and Rayburn, who has the other grand slam, is out. 4th career grand slam for Brandon Inge. His last was September of 06. How about the distance on this one? 427.
I missed it by 3 feet.
That's pretty good. 13-1. Here's Gerald Laird, 0 for 2 with a walk. Ten Tigers hits now, 2 slams. Ball outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. The rain has not affected the Tigers' bats tonight. They have come home and put on a show here. That's into right field. Cunningham. And the side retired. Another big inning, though. This time it's Brandon Inge. There are your grand slam brothers right there. Inge goes deep to make it 13-1. Here at Comerica Park, and this is the portion of our broadcast that we like to call our cooking portion. This is the cooking inning. We have a couple of pineapples here, and we have some chocolates. Actually, tell the story, Rod. This is a great gift from Dane Sardina's wife.
Christy is her name,
yep.
And she's in Hawaii. And, of course, we've been calling Dane Pineapple, which is his nickname, given to him by Leon Durham, who's the hitting coach down in AAA. And Sardina's wife apparently watching the game and thought she'd send us some pineapples. She also sent us some coffee, Kona Classic, also some candy. So we thank Christy Sardina dearly for her kind gift, and she sent them all the way from Hawaii, no less.
Outstanding. So, Christy, thank you very much. We hope you're still with us watching this one here, even though we've had a couple of rain delays. And Dane, you got quite a wife there. It was a nice gift.
I was asking Dane today, did he mind me calling him Pineapple? He said, no, have no problem with it.
And we get free food out of the deal.
Yes, we do. Maybe we ought to find out if anybody else has any nicknames.
Yeah, I wonder if someone's got a nickname of Lamborghini. That'd be sweet. Jeff Larish is the new first baseman. Edwin Jackson going back out to the hill here in the 7th inning. Ryan Sweeney leading it off. Sweeney, then Kennedy, and then Hanahan. 13-1 Detroit. They've hit a couple of grand slams in this game. Sweeney is 0 for 2. And a ball missing up high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's kind of remarkable that Jackson has been able to come back after the 1 hour and 13-minute rain delay. But beyond that, he came back in the 5th through 8 pitches, got him 1, 2, 3. And then in the 6th inning, got him 1, 2, 3. It's going to miss 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, more than likely, and I don't know for sure, but more than likely the reason why Jackson went back out there for a couple of more innings is the fact that Tigers bullpen is tired.
True.
I mean, Tigers bullpen got beat up in that Minnesota series the last 3 days. And if you've got a guy out there who's a horse, and Jackson would fall into that category, just pumping strike after strike by this Oakland Athletics ball club, why not run him out there? He's got that same kind of scowl, that same kind of stare in his eyes that Verlander's been going out there with the last 4 starts.
He's not only a horse, he's a stallion tonight. That is 5 strikeouts, and 8 in a row have been retired by Jackson.
His delivery is so easy. It's a nice, easy 96 miles an hour. And Rick Knapp has done a wonderful job with a lot of these Tigers pitchers in ingraining them to just throw the ball over the plate, pound the strike zone, make the hitters put the ball in play.
Well, seemingly has made a difference. Ryan Perry and Luke French, who was just called up the other day in Minnesota. They're warming up. 13-1 Detroit here in the 7th. Right back up the middle. That one is going to get through. So Kennedy has his 2nd hit of the night. Well, how rare has it been for the Tigers to hit 2 grand slams in 1 game?
Doesn't happen very often, that's for sure.
Last time was in 1968 when Jim Northrup hit them both. It has happened 3 times in team history. That's it. Inge and Rayburn tonight. (1968, 1954) was the first time they did it, and now, of course, here tonight. Jackson's got a lot of fly ball outs tonight. The majority of his outs have come in the air. Here's Hanahan. Fouled away. Hanahan struck out back in the 4th inning. Bobby Crosby started the game at 3rd base and then left. Hanahan took over. Crosby left with an upset stomach. The 0-1 is fouled back out of play.
That may be the first time I've ever heard of a guy leaving a ball game for an upset stomach. Have you ever heard it?
Nope. First for me.
We hope he feels better.
Yes, we do. But you had the line of the night when you said Bob Guerin should be leading with an upset stomach after watching his defense at the beginning of the game. There's a ground ball hit the 2nd. Polanco thought about it, but he'll go to 1st. And he'll get Hanahan. 2 gone. It's going to bring up Aaron Cunningham. Not even a rain delay can slow down Mr. Jackson.
Not tonight. And really not all year long. He could easily have 5 wins in his back pocket already. But he hadn't complained at all about the lack of run support, which is a sign of a true pro.
Well, I think part of him also realizes that you would think that stuff like that would even out in the end, and that sooner or later he would get some run support. And tonight he's gotten 13.
What you have to do, and when your team's not giving you a lot of run support, you simply have to go out, and whoever you're going up against, you have to not give up as many as your team's going to score for you. And that's what Jackson's done the majority of the time. He has been one of the best pitchers in the American League.
Yeah, absolutely.
Along with Verlander and Mark Burley, Halladay, Zach Greinke. We talked about it a couple of nights ago. We have seen some outstanding pitching this year in the American League. CC Sabathia, Cliff Lee, and the list goes on and on.
Well, Jackson came into this one with a 2.60 ERA. And he has done nothing to hurt that tonight. The only run he gave up was back in the fourth on a 2-out RBI single by Adam Kennedy. The 0-2 pitch. He swung out and missed. Jackson keeps humming along. That's his 6th strikeout of this ball game. Stretch time coming up. Edwin Jackson in command. Well, Edwin Jackson receiving the congratulations from his teammates tonight on a job well done, which seems to indicate that he is done for the evening. And what an impressive display it was for Jackson in this ball game tonight. Those are not his numbers tonight, but they were much better than that. He gave up just the 1 run on 6 hits, struck out 6 in the game. We will have a new pitcher now for the Oakland Athletics. So Jackson in line to win his 3rd of the season, finally getting some run support tonight. Here's the correct pitching line on Mr. Jackson. 97 pitches tonight.
No walks. He has gone from a guy that was walking 4 a game to 2 a game this year. Unbelievable transformation this year by Jackson. He has taken that next step to a front of the end rotation kind of guy.
Here's Adam Everett. He'll start things off now against the new pitcher Santiago Casilla.
Yeah, Casilla just reinstated from the 15-day disabled list today. He was on the DL since May 2nd with a sprained right knee.
Everett, then Granderson, then Polanco. Adam in the ball game has an RBI and a fielder's choice ground ball. Slices that one back out of play. Tigers have made great use of their hits tonight. 10 hits, but they have 13 runs. That's thanks to a couple of grand slams. Inge and Rayburn with the slams. Bouncing ball hit right back to the mound, and Casilla will handle this one. No problem. One gone. That'll bring up the top of the order now, Curtis Granderson. Curtis tonight is hitless. He does have a walk. And Casilla misses high, 1-0. Got a bunch of defensive changes that we will pass along to you momentarily. There's a strike. Cunningham is going to move to left. Rajay Davis is the new center fielder, and Sweeney goes to right. Landon Powell has come in to play first base. There's a ground ball hit back towards second and through. It's a base hit out of the reach of Kennedy. First hit tonight for Granderson.
And good to see Curtis join the hit parade. More than likely, Powell at first base will play behind Granderson. Granderson not going to go anywhere. Not up by 12 in the 7th.
Yeah, that would be a no-no.
Yes.
Here's Polanco. He does not have a hit tonight. He's been on base twice via a couple of errors.
You would think with 11 hits on the board, Polanco would at least have a couple of them. That's how steady he's been in a Tigers uniform.
This looks like a double play. 6-4-3 for the twin killing, ending the inning. So we played 7 here at Comerica Park, and you're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by back here at Comerica Park. It is all Tigers tonight. A couple of rain delays. One lasted 101. The second one lasted 113. But Edwin Jackson was able to outlast both of them. Outstanding work tonight. And the Tigers gave him a bunch of runs. 13-1 is our score as we go to the top of the 8th inning. And the Tigers now will have a new pitcher on. It's Ryan Perry.
Well, Ryan's done an outstanding job so far this year for the Tigers. He is limiting right-handed batters to just a 100 batting average. Right-handers are 3 for 30 against the talented Perry. Jim stretched him out quite a bit that first game in Minnesota as well on Tuesday night. Threw 40-plus pitches.
And that seems to be the plan now for Perry. I know he's coming in late in this one here in the 8th inning, but Leland talked about him becoming more of a 2-inning pitcher or so. The 0-1 lifted back out of play. Cabrera is leading things off. No balls, 2 strikes on Orlando Cabrera. He's 0 for 3. Swing and a miss.
Make that 3 for 31. Right-handers against Perry. That's dominant.
Very much so. Well, how's the player of the game voting going? Well, it's, boy, a tough call tonight. Inge with 42% of the vote. Jackson with 33% of the votes. Text Tigers followed by a space to 74499. The Tigers player number after the space, and you can vote tonight. 74499.
All the Tigers players are very popular, but I don't think any are as popular as Brandon Inge.
I would agree with that.
How about that applause he got here at Comerica Park opening day? Thunderous applause by the faithful Tiger fans.
He plays hard every night. Makes a highlight reel play just about once a week.
He's always there for us, answering questions. Even back when the team wasn't all that good, Brandon was still right there. Good go-to guy.
Fly ball hit well into right field. Thomas running back there. Cleat hauls it in. Lots of fly ball outs tonight for the Athletics. 2 gone, and here's Powell. 13 fly ball outs in this one.
That really goes against what Jackson usually gets. And Jackson usually gets a few strikeouts and lots of ground balls.
Brad Ziegler warming up. Tigers have out-hit him tonight 11-6. Landon Powell batting 172. Taking over for Giambi in this game. Fouls that one away. The Athletics have just run into some real a lot of scheduling quirks, I guess. I mean, they ran into some rain, a lot of rain early in the season. Bob Guerin's team was also in Anaheim when Nick Adenhart passed away, and that whole situation there was very tough for both of those teams.
Well, they had a game canceled that night, correct?
Correct. And all the rain early, and they came to town here. They saw the clouds in the area and thought, man, we're going to get another rain delay or rain out.
It's tough to get in sync that way when you play a couple of days and then you get a day off. It's tough to get it going.
Slice to left field, a base hit. So Powell picks up the 7th hit of the game now for the Athletics. Here's Rajai Davis. His first at bat of the night as well. Hitting just 192. Ball 1. Pretty good numbers though. Career against the Tigers, hitting 300. A couple of triples.
He can run. He's got real nice speed. Above average speed for Davis.
1-1.
Oakland has a new hitting coach this year. His name is Jim Skalin, who spent a couple of years with the Milwaukee Brewers. As a matter of fact, he was with the Brewers last year. And he hadn't gotten these guys on track yet, but he will. Longtime baseball man is Ski, which is his nickname.
It's popped up foul and headed back to the seats. And a souvenir for some of the fans that stuck around. One and two.
There's Jim Skalin. You know, he had those Milwaukee Brewers
Ooh.
hitting the last couple of years. That's
Sure
for sure.
Good talent there, too. Swing and a miss. Davis is out of there. A couple of strikeouts for Perry. Good night tonight for Tigers pitching. Good night for the offense. High above Comerica Park. It's 13. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank, standing the test of time since 1849. And it's all Detroit tonight. 13-1 as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. And we have a new pitcher on now for the Athletics. It'll be Brad Ziegler.
And 12th time now that Ziegler has been in the ball game. Does not have a record. Has 4 saves and 5 chances. Earned run average just a shade over 5. And the league hitting .321 against Brad this year.
Lee Thomas will lead off against him. 3, 4, and 5 in the lineup for the Tigers, and 3, 4, 5 tonight. 8 for 11 for Detroit. If you talk about getting it done in the middle of a lineup.
And Ziegler made his major league debut last year, and all he did was rack up 39 scoreless innings. 39 of them, which set 3 records and held another. Finished with a 1.06 earned run average. How's that for starting your big league career?
A little bit outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody could get to him.
No one.
Really impressive. Chopped foul. He had spent, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 years in the minor leagues.
Didn't he pitch an independent ball too?
Yes, he did actually, and back in 04.
Yep.
In Schaumburg.
Yep. That's why you don't give up. That's why you don't quit. Don't ever give up.
Collegiately, he pitched at Southwest Missouri State.
I was reading a nice article on him today on the webpage that the Oakland Athletics have.
Is that another hit? It is.
Cleat.
Cleat Thomas now with 3 hits.
Hey fans, visit the official online shop of the Detroit Tigers at tigers.com. Browse the largest selection of authentic Tigers gear, including clubhouse caps and t-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, and more. Get your Tigers gear straight from the source at tigers.com shop. But anyway, Ziegler was talking about the fact that when he's done playing, he would like to work in the front office in baseball. Possibly be a general manager one day. Yeah.
Here's Larish getting his first at bat. GM's a good gig if you can get it.
You got that right.
Larish takes low. 2-0 the count. Jeff's been swinging a pretty good bat since coming up from AAA Toledo. Little tapper hit slowly toward first. Powell has it. Ziegler covers, and they will get Larish with the runner moving up. One away. Clete Thomas goes into scoring position. Josh Anderson has picked up a bat, and he will hit for Maglio Ordonez. So Maglio is going to finish with a nice night. 3 hits, a walk, 2 RBIs. And here is Anderson. 12 Tigers hits tonight. They came out swinging the bats in the first inning and haven't stopped all night long. Josh at 310 in a Tigers uniform. That's hit the other way to third. Hanahan throws him out. And there are 2 gone with the runner holding. Well, a reminder, don't miss the action as the Wings continue their quest to defend the Stanley Cup by taking on the Chicago Blackhawks in the Western Conference Finals. For tickets, go to DetroitRedWings.com, the Joe Louis Arena box office, or you can phone 1-800-745-3000. The 2009 Stanley Cup playoffs. The beard is back. And the Wings in a thriller last night, dispatching the Ducks.
You don't want to get no rain on that jersey.
Here's Brandon Inge. I think that was one of those Winter Classic jerseys that they played against Chicago.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. At Wrigley Field. Nick Lidstrom jersey. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Well, Inge with a grand slam back in the 6th inning now has 26 RBIs and 10 homers.
He's a keeper.
Yeah, he's been able to maintain that new approach and hasn't really gone into really big rough patches.
Yeah, the key for him, and he said he's going to do it no matter what, even if he does go into a little mini slump where he's not getting hits. He's not going to change because he feels so good about the work that he and Lloyd McClendon have put in. And Lloyd is going to stay on him as well. And when you put in that kind of work and you give up part of your offseason to come back to Detroit and to spend a week with one of the players and watch the video and kind of make all the adjustments, you want guys to stick with it.
And Lloyd is smiling tonight. 13 runs on 12 hits.
He get a good night's sleep tonight.
Yeah. There were a couple of sleepless nights over in Minnesota. Ooh, look out. Inge has to do a little 2-step to get out of the way of that one.
A little 2-seamer. That would hurt cold night like tonight.
3-2. And he just fouled it off.
He threw that breaking ball at 71 miles an hour, below the speed limit.
What roads do you drive on? What are you on, the Autobahn or something?
Baseball turns.
3-2 pitch is, look out, hit to the shortstop, almost hit the runner. It'll go into left field, and this will get another run in.
And Brandon has to thank Clete Thomas for which should be a base hit. I don't know how they're going to score it, but Clete Thomas was shading the shortstop. Shortstop never saw it. Never saw it because Clete Thomas was right in front of him. And then once Clete Thomas moved, there was no chance for Cabrera. Look at that. He didn't even see it.
Fleet did a nice job of not getting hit by that thing. It's another hit. So Brandon gets 2 hits on the night and a swing and a miss by Rayburn. And don't forget the 5 RBIs as well for Brandon Inge. 5 for Inge and 5 for Rayburn.
10 RBIs out of your 6 and 7 slot today.
That doesn't happen too often.
10 of them.
(14-1) Tigers. They've had a 5-run inning, a 4-run inning. There's a ground ball, hit the left side. It's cut off at third by Hanahan. And that'll retire the side. So we will go to the 9th inning. It is all Detroit tonight. Last call for the Athletics as we go to the top of the 9th inning. It is 14-1. The Tigers in command here tonight, putting a pounding on the Athletics, and 3 more outs to get, and look who's going to try and get him. Luke French making his major league debut.
He had some decent numbers down in Toledo. 2 wins, couple of losses, earned run average under 3. He pitched 34 innings, had 9 walks and 29 strikeouts. I couldn't think of a better situation for French to be making his major league debut.
I was just about to say the same thing. I know he was warming up late in one of the games in Minnesota. But this obviously is a much better situation. Left-hander slings one home and it misses high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Luke French is 6'4", 220 out of Littleton, Colorado.
A big boy.
The 1-1. 8th round pick of the Tigers back in 04. He is facing Jack Cust as his first big league hitter. And a ground ball hit to second base. He's going to get his first big league hitter. 1 gone. So the first one is out of the way for Luke French. Now Ryan Sweeney. Fouled straight back. Every year Aflac has their All-American High School Baseball Classic. They started that back in 03, and Luke French was invited to play in that game as a high schooler. Misses high. 1 ball, 1 strike. And here he is in the big leagues now. Littleton High School. There's a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Ryan Sweeney. Take it back there. It's Heritage High School.
Heritage High School.
Luke French. Heritage High School. Right back up the middle. It's off French. It'll roll to second base. Might be a play. Got him by half a step.
Nice redirection of the body by Polanco. The ball heading up the middle appeared to clip French. Polanco comes in, grabs it with the palm of his hand, and redirects it to the fingertips and flips it on to Larish to get the out. It's a big league play. A little smile out of French.
So 2 gone. Another terrific play there by Polanco. 1 more out to get here. And the Tigers will move to 2 games over. Adam Kennedy, the batter.
Well, if you're going to stay, as long as we've stayed today, partner, you might as well get a win out of it.
I believe that. That is true. A couple of separate rain delays. 1 hour and 1 minute, 1 hour and 13 minutes.
That's how Minnesota felt a couple of nights ago after that 13-inning affair, where Joe Creedy hit that grand slam to cap off the victory for them in the 13th.
Fouled away. 1-2. Luke French trying to get a 1-2-3 inning in his big league debut. Stick around. Tigers Live coming up. Swing and a miss, and Luke French with a 1-2-3 ninth inning in his big league debut puts the capper on a big win for the Tigers. 14-1 our final score in this one.
You've got to give the Tigers a lot of credit. They came out in the very first inning and attacked